At least 4 deaths in Pune, subways flooded and train services hit in Mumbai. Heavy rainfall has brought life to a standstill in various parts of India. The Met Department has specifically issued a red alert for Maharashtra. Cities like Pune and Mumbai saw heavy rain and flooding with 4 lives already lost on Thursday. In fact, in Pune, 3 persons died due to electrocution through water. Schools remained closed in the city and also in the neighborhood. In fact, social media was buzzing with visuals of waterlogged streets in Pune and also Kolhapur. You can see some of those visuals there. Images of Khadakwasla Dam overflowing has also raised several concerns. Now, Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar, visited the Pune Police Commissionerate today to assess the ongoing relief and rescue operations. Chief Minister Eknath Shinde has also ordered that the Indian Air Force and the Indian Army be alerted for potential interventions in Pune and other affected areas of Maharashtra. Now, we chose to highlight the problems that Pune is facing today only because we know it is something that many other cities are also going through. Struggles of residents of Delhi, Bengaluru, even Mumbai often get highlighted, which is not very different from what we see in Pune today. Crumbling infrastructure during monsoon, cities struggling to function even under the first bout of rains. Remember, Pune, amongst the largest cities in the country, is also the second most important in the state of Maharashtra, which is India's commercial capital. Pune has been historically, politically very important since ages. So do our cities need better administration? That's what we want our viewers to call us and tell. In fact, tell us as to what kind of mindful infrastructure needs to be built in cities to make them resilient to torrential rains and also to extreme heat. That's what we ask tonight. Also joining us on this broadcast is Rohit Chandavarkar, who's a consulting editor, Free Press Journal, also my friend. He's also an author. Omkar Sathe, partner, CPC Analytics, and also who's a public policy specialist. Thank you so much for joining us on this show. Omkar, you understand Pune better than a lot of people. Pune has been a center of the Peshwas. It's very important for educational institutions, for our exports, for our IT companies, pharma companies. There's so much that Pune has given us. But tell us, what is it that it lacks? How do you think these loopholes, these infra loopholes, can actually be sort of filled?
Yeah, so definitely Pune is one of the top metropolises in the country, right? And as a city, it has seen tremendous growth since the last 3 decades or so. And with it comes with a lot of the problems that are actually common to quite a lot of Indian cities. Rapidly expanding city, rapid concretization. At the same time, there are severe issues of state capacity, which means that we really struggle when it comes to issues like this, which are of service delivery that needs to be built up over a long period of time, right? So floods and rains are not something that possibly could be done in a year's time. It really requires a sustained effort in terms of building up that infrastructure. And I think we see these things almost every few years in Pune, where there is serious flooding that does go that does hamper daily life in the city, and really calls into question that whether this is really one of the more important cities in India and Maharashtra.
Right. Omkar, just hold on to that thought. We have Punya Singh calling us from Jaipur. Punya, thank you so much for calling us. Tell us, what has your experience been like? Share your thoughts on how you think the cities could be actually built better.
Yeah, ma'am. My take about this is that India is 5th largest economy in the world, and it is becoming the 3rd largest economy by 2027. India is a multi-industry economy. It's the largest democracy, but India lags basic infrastructure behind other countries. So my take about this is, many countries which are not big economies as India, they don't also lag other things such as infra and all. They have better flood management techniques, better techniques to handle the emergency situation. So my take about this, that as NDTV is India's oldest news producer, you must raise your voice for the citizens of Pune, Mumbai, and all the cities of India who usually face these kind of situations.
Right. We also, thank you so much, Punya, for calling us. We also have Captain Jakpal Jagtap, who's calling us from Rohtak in Haryana. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to us. Tell us, what are your views? In fact, we were discussing as to not just the capital cities, but also, these second important cities or third level important cities are also going through this problem. Many of them don't really get highlighted on a regular basis.
My views are plain and simple. This is nothing but corruption and maladministration. There is a saying in Haryana, come rain, and there comes the prosperity in the house, because all the buffaloes cow, we get butter, milk. Similarly, today the saying is, come rain, all the municipal committees running into thousands and hundreds of crores, they just siphon off the entire money. There is no other reason. And the integrity and character and quality of the officers is deteriorating so low.
Right.
You are in media, know as much as the media has gone down. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for calling us. Rohit, we have discussed this often, and every time we keep talking about BMC ka chunav kab hoga, PMC ka chunav kab hoga. Poor planning has also been aggravated by a lack of coordination amongst various government agencies. And I remember, experts saying that 9 agencies, including BMC, which is seen as the nation's richest municipal body, have a say in Mumbai's administration and development. Do you think, lack of coordination is also, something that has aggravated Mumbai's deficiencies?
I think it's a combination of various. Firstly, there is no coordination, as you mentioned, between BMC and maybe the politicians and others, and the town planning of state government, etc. But this is basically has to do with 3 things. Firstly, the government agency is not able to respond to the climate change challenge that we have, as in, too much rain happening in short span. In Pune, there's been close to 300 millimeters of rain in 24 hours. This was not the pattern seen earlier. The civic administration doesn't seem to be prepared to handle this kind of a thing. Secondly, there is no town planning, as in there is, some corruption there, and there is illegal construction happening, concretization happening, other things happening, which means the water can't find way to kind of seep away to the river or to the ocean, Arabian Sea in case of Mumbai, common in both cities. And thirdly, of course, civic apathy in terms of preparedness not being there to handle a disaster like this. For instance, in Pune, I heard that there were no motorboats available to evacuate citizens. Too much of encroachment along the rivers that has happened, where the water kind of got into people's houses and all of that.
Right.
So it's a combination of civic apathy and non-preparedness to handle the climate change challenge. We must remember that this kind of rain just over 1 day or 2 days was never experienced in a city like Pune earlier. So there is some part of natural calamity element in it also.
Right.
Remember that there have been no elections for the last 2 years in municipal corporations, which were due in 2022. Because of various political reasons.
Right.
So you don't have the municipal corporators coming out, doing things that they're supposed to do, etc.
Absolutely.
And the administration doesn't seem to be really prepared to handle, sudden challenge like this that comes. And that's why you have so many people in crisis, and, many lives lost and cattle lost. A lot of cattle lost in Pune, I heard. 16 cows and cattle lost in this calamity. Vasudha.
Absolutely. We also have another caller from Hyderabad, Rajesh, calling us. Tell us, sir, what has your experience been like? You come from Hyderabad, and we've actually highlighted a lot of issues, flood management in Chennai, Bengaluru, also Kolkata for the last few days, even Delhi. Tell us what kind of problems to urban centers in India, what kind of problems are they facing, and is this all a result of poor planning? What has been your experience like?
Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone. So, It's really a problem in all the urban cities, the same problem. But I would like to have a simple question to every authority or the government. Like recently they have announced the budget. So I want to ask, like, for middle class, there is nothing in any budget. At least they should allocate some budget for this planning and proper planning and doing proper planning for this urbanization of the cities and doing the proper planning of drainage, water supply and everything. That should be considered, should be a part of the central budget, because middle class should get at least that privilege of paying the tax.
Right. That's a very important point. Thank you so much for calling us. Omkar, can you take this question? You know, we had the budget presented 2 days ago. Tell us what kind of intervention should even budget or policy documents need to have when it comes to a city's governance needs. You know, when it comes to Pune, tell us what are the things that need to be there in the fine print of the master plan of the city that would in some ways also help in creating climate resilient infrastructure, something that Rohit also spoke about.
Right. I think one of the callers said it quite rightly that there are a lot of government agencies involved in this particular problem, right? Right from urban planning, let's say you have the MMRDA in Mumbai, which actually does the planning. Similarly, there is a body in Pune as well, which is called as the PMRDA. Yeah. Right from that to, let's say, there are two city corporations, there are a few cantonment boards, etc. So all of these local government bodies also have various departments within them, right? From water resources, which is again split between the local bodies and the state government as well, right? To, let's say, PWD. So one very critical aspect of this is of course the planning and the zoning laws, right? That whether the river and the channels around the river are being maintained correctly or not. I think that is one critical area. The other is, of course, as I think Mr. Tandwalkar also said, right from your planning stage to your when actually rains happen. What is your plan in terms of disaster resilience and recovery. So there is definitely a large piece of capability that needs to be built in government across all of these. And possibly the way to start about it is from a ground up approach of trying to understand this problem. The problem isn't new, right? The problem is something that cities in the US also face this, right? So it's cities in the US also face a problem of flooding, right? But the way that they have developed in terms of capturing the data around flooding, capturing the potential impact of any urban development that they are planning to do. It's something that is a knowledge capability gap that unfortunately still exists in a lot of government bodies, whether it is at the state level or even at the local body level. Right. So that I think is one big aspect of how policies could try and rectify this.
That's very, very important. We also have Satish Ramachandran calling us from Pune. Satish, tell us, what was your experience like today? And also, can you tell us as to what really did you and your family go through today, with these kind of torrential rains splashing over the city today?
Specifications what are set in are different for different municipal corporations. They are not uniform all over the nation, or at least in Maharashtra. They are not same. Every corporation has got its own rules, regulations. And apart from that, like National Highway Authority, they should have state-wise one authority which will deal with all roads, drainage. Corporations should not be given any authority to build internal roads. And planning as well, it should be done at state level, not at local level. Because in Pune, there are various suburbans which were come up after the Pachet flood. They could have planned it very well. But they have not done that. Town planning.
Satish, also, can you tell us what did you go through? You are in Pune today. What kind of visuals did you see around you today? And how was it different from, say, last year?
As compared to last year, it is worse because what has happened, most of the city has got now concrete roads without any provision for draining out the rainwater.
Okay.
What I suggested earlier, they should have bore wells at about 50 meters, everything, and let that excess water go in the ground. What has happened because of all this flooding takes the water to the river. There is no ground level which is penetrating in the ground.
Right, that's very important.
Earlier, what used to happen, ground used to soak most of the water, which is not happening now. So it is natural flooding on the streets and cities and all that.
Okay.
Apart from that, in the river, the irrigation department has put a red line, no construction zone. If you walk around the Mutha River or even Mola River in Pune, there are illegal constructions done in that red line itself. In fact, some days ago, High Court has ordered that it should be demolished.
Right.
But because of political intervention, they are not doing. Some of the colleges are owned by retired IS persons.
Okay. Satish, in your experience and memory of living in Pune, do you remember a day like this, a day that was completely splashed by rains? And how do you look at the intervention that went into it? Because administration has been saying that, NDRF has been at work. Do you see the recovery of the city happening soon? Okay, we'll try and connect with him again. Rohit, can you take that question? When he's talking about this garbage-clogged drains and waterways, this is something that we see in Mumbai as well, right? We do speak so much about the spirit of Mumbai, but this is a city that's looking at turning itself into a global financial hub. Large parts here are still struggling every year with annual rains. What kind of intervention does Mumbai need specifically to be up there?
Vasudha, the problems in Mumbai and Pune are very similar, and I think they are similar to Bangalore or any other, growing metropolis. It's a common thing across India, so we can speak nationally, and it'll appeal to national audiences.
Yes.
We have seen this kind of a thing in Chennai also, Bangalore, other places also. See, the problem is the policy of densification. Mark this word, densification. The government in Maharashtra, at least, I can't say this about other states, but in Maharashtra, has gone for a major policy of densification of cities, which means increasing the floor space index, FSI, which is allowed for the builders to build, constructions. So, which means an old building of 4 floors or 6 floors can be brought down and redeveloped into 20 floors, 25 floors, and I'm sure you see this in Gurgaon or Noida or any other place. This means that there is, a lot of foundation, concrete going into the ground, and plinth and, entire area getting concretized, which was mentioned by one of your callers, that there is no space for water to seep. That is why basically you see all this flooding happening. It has 2 effects. Firstly, the bad effect is that frequent flooding during monsoon. And secondly, because water is not going into the ground, the overall subterranean water level keeps going down every year, which means there is going to be a crisis of water supply in the long run, because a lot of people depend on bore wells and the water that comes from
Rohit,
wells.
just hold on to that thought. We have another caller, Brigadier Chauhan, calling us from Dehradun. Sir, please go ahead. What are your views when it comes to building resilient cities that will help us, have a better life?
Ma'am, I was watching your program, Monsoon, Mayhem in Maharashtra. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, please go on.
I see this program, this type of thing every year. As soon as the monsoon starts, this sort of a scene is available everywhere in the country, particularly beautiful cities like Bombay, Pune, and even in the northeast. So why this? This is every year's story. I mean, if there is some better governance, if these all agencies are coordinated nicely, I think we can avoid many issues. We are losing so many lives, we are losing so much of property, and nobody seems to be accountable. You will make a program, there will be some discussion, and the story finishes. So some head must rule. Somebody must take responsibility. There are so many experts in the country. We can always come out with such beautiful solutions.
Right. Thank you so much, sir, Mr. Chauhan, Brigadier Chauhan, for calling us on NDTV. We also have another caller, KSN Rao, calling us from Hyderabad. Mr. Rao, tell us what are your thoughts when it comes to flood management, at the same time, building cities with adequate planning?
No proper management, madam. Do you think that there is a governance in all the cities across India? There is no governance at all. Hello?
Yes, sir. Please go on. We can hear you.
Number one, no, there is no governance, number one. Number two, who is taking action? If at all any government official not working or taking action as per they are supposed to take action.
Right.
So leave it all cities. There are innumerable problems. Consumers or the common citizen faces so many problems day in and day out. There is no accountability. If you complain, the officials and higher authorities, listen to you, and they leave it to they will put you in lurch. That is the situation.
Right.
No governance, no accountability. So proper planning is required and accountability is also required at each and every stage.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Rao, for calling us. Also, Omkar, do you think of having a proper civic action group, like I've seen that in cities like Bengaluru, does that help politically to fix accountability, something that our latest caller was also talking about? Does Pune have that sense of, civic activism, and do you think that also helps politically to make things better for the residents?
Oh, absolutely. I think civic activism is greatly important, especially in an issue like this, where for instance, this perhaps is not an issue that will be taken up very strongly in elections, right? So something that people vote evocatively on. If it is not that sort of an issue, then the role of civic activism becomes even more important. And in fact, Pune had seen quite a bit of strong civil society groups which have come up specifically related to these issues, specifically related to the issues of rivers, right, and management of flooding and all of these issues. I would also say that this problem is a little bit more harder to solve than your other public service delivery problems. For instance, if it is a problem of giving pipe water to every household, right, that's still a simpler problem to solve than this particular one, which comes and goes a few days every year, right, and it doesn't become a major pain point for most of the residents for many months, right. So it becomes the role of civic activism is more.
We have another caller, and before he sort of like disconnects, Srinivas from Hyderabad is calling us. Srinivas, tell us your thoughts on this.
See, major thing is encouragement of cities, especially rivers and river bodies and lakes, right? And if we don't do anything, right, there's two things that is impacting. One is the global warming, which is increasing the impact of rains or sudden flash floods and everything. Second is how we handle cities. It need not be smart. It needs to be logical that we put our severages and basic things, how to drain our water properly, and incentivize people for doing rainwater harvesting.
Right.
If you don't do that like solar, we should do this. That's it.
Okay.
I'm young GIS engineer. I know about science and everything, but to do something to the government, it is always bribe.
Right.
That's it.
Okay, thank you, Srinivas, for calling us. We have Meeta Paul from Mumbai. Ma'am, tell us, what was your experience like, and how was today so different from all the rainy days that we have seen, that Mumbai and Pune have seen in the last few years?
Yeah, well, you see, year on year, these are the same problems.
Yes, ma'am, go on.
These things are nothing new. Mumbai today, these things keep happening. These kind of rains are nothing new to Mumbai, and the quality of roads are despicable. Even without the rains, and come monsoon, this is the condition. And you try to complain, who cares? I mean, it is left to God. And you get onto the road thinking that I hope I come back home in one piece. And roads getting inundated with water is nothing new. But the question is, the authorities, they are, the authorities could care less about such matters.
Right.
And the cities today.
Right. That's a very important point. Sorry, Meeta Paul, we have to sort of wrap up because this is the last minute I had. Thank you, Rohit. Thank you, Omkar, for joining us. Clearly, like Meeta said, act of God or man-made disaster, that's where the debate is. Rains have brought life to a standstill in both Mumbai and Pune. Whatever the season is, whatever the challenges are, it is clearly important to look at systemic issues, keep the focus on solutions, but only the collective will and, of course, accountability of administration, the accountability of policymakers, those in charge, those that we elected with a promise that they will govern well. That probably is the most important. That's all we have for you in this show. Keep watching NDTV.